Good day, everyone. Welcome to Morning Sip with Red Melissa. I am Red Melissa, and SIP stands for Spirit in Practice, where we practice because practice makes progress. Yes, it does. So, welcome to today's show. We are live today. I am Red Melissa, and my passion is to support people in transforming their lives. My mission is to give inspiration through spiritual life coaching, preaching, and teaching that ignites the divine spark within you to live life in joy, connected to your yes. So if you need support, here I am. You can reach out to me by sending me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook at I am Rev Melissa. So good day, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well on this wonderful day in the neighborhood. Good day, Linda. It's good to see you. Beautiful morning, indeed, indeed. And welcome everyone joining on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we are streaming on New Thought Media Network. So we are in our new series that started yesterday, and our new series is Grieve. Our new series is Grieve. And you all know me. I do series based on many times what's going on in my life, what might become a what I might receive from a download or something happening in the world, or I'm inspired by many places and things for the series. And so this series is personal for me because it is about grieving, Pamela, and that is what is present for me right now. Based on my Aunt Marion making her transition last week. So people keep asking me, how am I doing? And I feel sad. I feel a sense of loss. I feel like I have these moments where I have to remind myself that I don't have to go to the hospital today, or, something that I would do for my aunt, I don't have to do that anymore. And I forget, and then I have to remind myself. And in that reminding myself, a wave of sadness comes up for me. And I just allow myself to be in it. I really believe wholeheartedly in feeling our feelings. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm feeling my feelings. Sometimes I could just be in the groove of working on something and it never enters my mind. And then out of nowhere, there it is. So I'm sure that many of you who have experienced loss of a dear one in your life can relate to what I am sharing here. And I hope this series provides you with some comfort, offers possibly another lens at looking at grieving, grief, and helps. Just I just want to put this vibration out in the universe, and whoever catches it. And maybe there's someone in your life who has experienced a loss recently, and you can share this with them as well. So, I want to share again the definition of grieve means to feel grief or great sorrow. And the origins of the word comes from a Latin word that means to burden and heavy. And heavy really describes the feeling of sadness. That is a heavy sadness. It's a heavy sadness. And yesterday, I got curious about the difference between, or if there is a difference between grieving and mourning, right? Because some people say, well, you're grieving. And then some people say, you're in mourning, right? And I said, I wonder if there's a difference between those two, grieving and mourning. So, you know me, when I get curious, I do some research and I'm going to give you just a sip of the distinctions between those two, grieving and mourning. So, grief is an internal process of experiencing loss. So, grief is internal, right? It's an internal process. It is our feelings, it is our thinking, it's our thoughts. It is an internal process. It is something that is happening within ourselves, right? That is what grief is. That is what grieving is. It is internal. Mourning is the external expression of that loss. So, mourning is the process of us taking the grief that we feel within ourselves and expressing that outwardly. I never knew this. I thought grieving and mourning were the same thing. And so now I'm learning that grieving is internal and mourning is the external expression of the grief. So they go hand in hand, they support one another. Grieving is more about our feelings and our thoughts, and mourning is about our behaviors and our actions. So some people actually do grieve, right? So there's an internal process that's going on within them of feelings and thoughts, but they don't mourn. So you may not see any behaviors or actions on their part that would indicate that they are grieving because there's no outward expression of the grief. So they are not mourning. They are just having an internal expression within themselves of grief. And I've been around people like that, and it can be selective, because sometimes um, we may not feel safe or comfortable or whatever to have our mourning, to have our grief be expressed outwardly, right? So I can remember when I was working at this organization a number of years ago, and one of my coworkers' mother passed away, and she was pretty close with her mother. And I remember she was in the office when she got the news, and she came into my office to tell me what happened. I was the human resources director, and I told her to go, to leave, like go, go be with your mother, go be with your family. And so she left and she came back to work the next day. And I was shocked to see her. I was like, "What are you doing here?" And she was like, "I came to work." And I was like, "Well, you could take bereavement time. You could take some days off to to do the things that you need to do just to take care of yourself." And she was like, "I'm fine." And we were looking at her like, "What?" And so we had a meeting later on in the day. Everyone was asking her how she was doing, offering condolences, and she was just like, "Thank you." And she just wanted to be about the business. So there was no outward expression of her grief. So in that moment in time, she wasn't at the stage of mourning yet. Now, how she was outside of work, I don't know, right? She may have been mourning, showing and demonstrating behaviors and actions that express her grief, right? But at work, she was very like about the business. And I was always like really taken by that. because it was her mother. And just from previous conversations with her, she has shared how close she was with her mother, and the death of her mother was sudden. It wasn't like her mother was sick or anything. It was sudden. And that's how she showed up. So I've been really thinking about that. Like we can't make any assumptions about how people deal with grief, what it looks like for people. There is no recipe for how you grieve and how you express it through mourning. It's unique and different for everyone. And it's really important, I think, that we give people space and respect to express their grief in a way that that works for them, that honors their process. So, I wanted to share those things, and when I was, doing some research, I came upon this that I wanna share with you. Think of grief as the container. It holds your thoughts, feelings, and images of your experience when someone you love dies. So, grief is like the container, right? It's how we get to hold all of that, all of the thoughts and the feelings and the memories and the experiences, right? That's the container. And then when we open up the container and we decide that we want to express outwardly the grief, that is mourning. And so it's important, I think, that we express our grief in a way that is healthy for us, that supports us where we are in the process, because it is a process, and that we don't judge anyone on how they are choosing to express their grief in their mourning, in their outward expression of grief, which is mourning. So I hope that offers some distinction between the two. It's very helpful for me personally, and that's where I am. I'm grieving and mourning, and I've been sitting with what's my outward expression of my grief. So I have moments when I cry. I have moments where I am just like, what's a good word? Oh, I can't even think of what the word would be. But for me, the most um, consistent expression of my grief is crying. I think that's the most consistent um, expression of my grief that I show in mourning is crying. And the other day, a couple of days ago, we have a smart TV, and when it's idle, it shows pictures. Pictures from my phone is connected to the TV. The smart TV is connected to my photos on my phone. And the other day, and it's been recently, I would say in the last month, it's been showing like really, really old pictures from years ago, you know? And so the other day, Marco and I were sitting on the couch getting ready to watch something on television, and he paused it because I had to go upstairs and do something. And so it was idle for a long time. And so it started showing pictures. So when I came downstairs and I looked at the screen, it was a picture of my Aunt Marion. She was holding flowers that I got for her in 2021 for her birthday. And I was not expecting to see a picture of her holding these flowers. And I remember that day vividly because my Aunt Marion was never big on her birthday. And it was As a matter of fact, it wasn't 2021, it was 2020 because right during the height of COVID, that's when I started to check on her and, make sure she was okay. And her birthday is April 12th, and the shutdown happened in March. And I wanted to, like, do something special for her birthday, and she didn't really wanna do anything, that's just kinda how she was, but I went and got her some flowers and a card, and she was so happy to receive these flowers and the card, and she let me take a picture of her because my aunt really did not like taking pictures, and that was the picture that was up on the screen, and I just burst into tears. I just burst into tears. And that was my expression of my grief, you know? And and it's okay. That's what I keep saying to myself. Like, it's okay, Melissa. It's okay. It's okay. It is. It's okay. So more to come. I hope that this is helpful. I really do. I really do hope this is helpful in some way. And grieving doesn't have a expiration date, right? There's not a time period. It takes as long as it takes. And one of the quotes that really resonates for me about grief is grief is love without any place to go. Something like that. Grief is love without a place to go. I believe that's how it goes. So honor your process. It's up to you what you want to express outwardly, privately, whatever is good for you. All right, y'all. So let me check in with you all before we get into some joy news. Thank you, Fee King. Hey, mommy. And my Aunt Marion was my mother's sister. They were born a year apart, so she was a year younger than my mom. Thank you, Fee, for yeah, I so appreciate the support from my congregation of joy. And this is one of the ways, believe it or not, y'all, doing my show is one of my expressions of mourning. Doing my show is my healthy way of expressing my grief outwardly. Someone recently said to me, why are you doing your show? Like, it'll be okay if you don't do your show. When I did my show the day after my aunt passed away, they were like, "What?" And it was like the coworker that I talked about, that she came to work the next day and she was like, "We got work to do. Let's do the work." So that was her way. That was probably a healthy way for her to express her grief outwardly, was to do the work, do her work, come to work. And so for me too, morning sip, meditation with the full moon, the class we had last night was Sekou. All of those things are sources of joy for me. And in grief, yes, there's sadness, but there's also joy, you know? And I know that might sound strange or odd, but there is. I love that. Oh, I wish I could remember the Bible verse that uh, we weep for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That mourning can also be the word mourn, mourning, right? It's another way of looking at it. All right. So thank you, Fee. I appreciate that so much. I found that my grief makes others uncomfortable, and that's okay. Yes, sometimes people can't hold grief, someone else's grief and their expression of it. And Fee is sharing, yeah, there's no expiration date. My mother transitioned in 2011, and I cry about her loss at least once a week When I spoke with Donna Marie last night, I held back the tears and sadness because my mom's name is also Donna Marie. I'm crying daily over the loss of my cousin, Rosetta. I was just walking back from Trader Joe's and cried. I'm outside of the subway station. Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Crying is cathartic. It is helpful. It is so important that we don't repress, depress our emotions, right? That we express our emotions in a healthy and safe way for ourselves. So, peace and blessings to you, Fee King. And I just extend love and support to you also, because you've just been a rock, a solid rock for me during this whole process as well. And I so appreciate you. Wayne is sharing that he misses his good friend, good male friend he passed away from bad lungs. Peace and blessings to you, Wayne. And there's my mother, joy coming in the morning. Yes. And joy come in the morning also. All right, y'all. All right. Yes, we get to remember happy moments. We do, we do, we do. All right, y'all. Let's get into some joy news. All right. So I mentioned that last night we had a wonderful class with Sekou Wrights. It was his second class of his big money tips, and he consolidated them down to 3 money tips so that we can take action, right? To take action. So this was a review and a check-in on accountability to see what folks did from last week to this week. And then we ended with everyone sharing what action step they will take this week to next week. And then we have to check in with Sekou by texting him when we've done our action. So my intention is to do my action today. That is my intention. So we're going to see what we're going to do next. I think that this is a valuable service that Sekou has generously given to the Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living community and to the larger community. So we'll let you know what's next. This concluded the series. It was a two week series. You can still take advantage today. Go to SeikouWrights.com and um, you can purchase the series. You could purchase the series. So go check that out. He might not have both loaded up yet, but you can check it out and see what the class was all about, and then take action with your finances. It's so important to be in relationship with your money. So stay tuned for more. This Sunday is our Sunday in Praise, and we have 2 offerings. So the first is Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living, where I am the spiritual director and senior minister. We will be wrapping up our August theme of connection, and we have a wonderful guest speaker. Her name is Rev Deb Hammond, and she's my seminary sister, and she will be bringing a word this Sunday. And her topic is power in connection, power of connection, the power of connection. So please join us. You can go to Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living website, rocklandcsl.org. The Sunday link is there. We will be virtual this Sunday, so please join us. And then my second offering is the other sip, which is Sunday in Praise, where I share an inspirational talk that I've given in the past. I'm not sure if I'll be sharing last week's Sunday's talk that I gave at UUCR. It may not be ready yet, but as soon as it is, it'll be one of the Sundays in Praise. So this Sunday, it may be a previous sermon that I've given. So that's the offerings for Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Please follow me at I am Red Melissa on Facebook. I have a challenge going on to increase my followers to 1,000, and that will conclude this level thing that Facebook has so that I can do more with my page and reach more people. So if you get any value out of I am Red Melissa, Morning Sit with Red Melissa, and my other offerings, I would appreciate you going to my Facebook page, I am Red Melissa, and just click follow. That's it. And then let people know, like spread the news, invite other people to follow me as well. I checked this morning and need 260 more followers. That's it. That's not a lot of people, just 260 more followers. So please help me reach my goal. And lastly, I want to shout out supporters, sponsors who are doing their brand of joy work in the world. And that I want to just holla. I want to give a shout out to. And so that is Rhythm and Soul Radio, which is my husband's 24-hour internet radio station. So he has many programs on it and featuring independent artists. You can catch Morning Sip with Red Melissa on rhythmandsoulradio.com at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Also, check out and support Sekou Wright's Get Rich 101. That is his show Monday through Fridays at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, and follow him on social media. And Feed King on the Feed King Show Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and you can follow Feed King on Facebook and on Instagram. And we are going to be we're going to be offering our workout and a word earlier in the day starting in September, so stay tuned for that. 20 minutes of workout led by Fee King and a 5-minute word of inspiration by yours truly. So I'm looking forward to that. And lastly, please check out Rocky Mountain Holistic Health that was founded by Shay Davis, aka Shay Bird, on Facebook. Faye, Faye. Shay is a holistic health practitioner, and she supports you in getting to the root cause of physical and emotional pain. So, those are just some people who are out in the world doing wonderful things to support you in a multitude of ways. So I hope that you will support their work and reach out to them directly. All right. All right. So that is all for today. I'll do one last check in. Oh, Wayne has some great advice. Be excellent to each other. Yes, Wayne, let's do that. Fee is saying, I'm going to make my contribution to both. Okay, so Fee is doing her homework, right? Transferring funds from Robinhood into her IRA, Roth IRA at Charles Schwab, and she's also transferring her dollar into Acorns. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you to your fiance, Sekou Wrights. Yes, so if y'all don't know what Fee is talking about, go to SekouWrights.com and purchase the classes, and then you will know. You will be in the know. These are tips, simple tips that you could put into action and then automate. It's like an automated action that you get to do so that the money is continuously flowing, circulating, right? That is the law of circulation, the law of compensation, to keep it flowing because it is a current. Money is a current. That's why we call it currency, because it's a current. All right. All right, y'all. Before I get into that, I will see you tomorrow. We will wrap up the Grieve series, and I will also share some information with you about Tree, because I have some updates about Tree as well. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful today. Peace and blessings, everyone. Peace and justice. Health is wealth. Live life in joy, connected to your yes.